Hello and welcome back to Beauty Bee. I'm Iris and I'm currently having a very hard time believing that we are already over halfway through 2021. I have tried quite a bit of new makeup this year and I thought that today I would compile the 10, kind of 11 best products that I have tried out this year. Now it's worth noting that a lot of these items are not new to the market at all. They've been around for ages and ages. These are just things that I've tried for the first time in 2021. I think there is actually nothing that would have been released in 2021 in this video. Let's get into it. I think we are going to start with hair care and skincare. I have one item each in those categories. Let's start with skincare. This is the Ordinary Argyle Line Solution, 10%. This is really incredible stuff. I feel like most skincare, you don't see a whole lot of difference, or you just kind of have to cross your fingers and hope that if there was, divergent timelines where in one case you didn't use the product and in the other case you did, 10 years on, you would look better from using the product than if you hadn't. This, I think I actually see a difference pretty quickly when I'm using this consistently. I am pretty fair. I'm not always fantastic about sunscreen, and I have a bad tendency to really raise my eyebrows when I talk. So I have, the beginnings of little wrinkles on my forehead, and I do think that this has actually lessened them somewhat. It's not a miracle. I am still going to get wrinkles eventually, but I do think that this has slowed things down, and I think that it makes the little wrinkles that are starting to develop look a little bit less obvious. So really, really happy with this. Also, I want to say this was maybe $6 on Sephora, so I'm really happy with the price tag on this, and it's actually lasted me quite a while. I only use one dropper full on the top half of my face. I try for every day. It usually ends up being more like every second day, every third day, but I still see some results from it. So I'm very impressed with this particular product. Another item that I've been really, really happy with is the Saints and Sinners Divine Hair Mask. This is one of those pot hair masks. It comes with a little cap on the inside, and it looks and sort of smells a lot like a lemon meringue yogurt. It smells delightful. If I walked past a bakery and I smelled this, I would probably go in to see what they had. The consistency on this is also really nice. It is thick enough that it feels, like it's doing something beyond what a regular conditioner would do, but it's not so thick that I feel like it's weighing my hair down or it just feels kind of gross to use. This is just a really all over really nice product, and I do think that it does a good job of hydrating my hair without overhydrating it or making it feel like there's just a lot of stuff sitting on it. Before we get into real makeup, I have one brush pick. This is from Farrah and it is their Conceal and Set brush. This is the concealer brush. I tend not to use this side a whole lot, though it works pretty well if I want like really bam highlighter. This is what I'll use it for. I'm also getting a liquid highlighter that should be here in a couple of days, and I want to say that this will probably be a really good brush for that. The side that I've gotten a ton of use out of is this tiny little highlighter brush. Usually what I have used for highlighter in the past is this. In comparison, this is much, much smaller, and I find that it gives me a little bit more of a targeted application, and I find that I can go a little bit bolder with my highlighter because it's not going over such a large area. Instead of just sweeping on a little bit for some relatively natural glow, I find that I can really build it up on a really small area, and get a very different effect, which I really enjoy. So this has been a huge hit. Let's move next to face products. Let's start with, I think, the earliest item that I would have gotten in this video, which is this Cheek Leaders palette from Benefit. This has many sizes of 3 of their powders. These are their boxed powders that they have. They have Dandelion, Tickle, and then California. And I've been really loving all 3 of these. I find that I can layer them and mix them for a variety of different looks. The quality on these is just top notch. I had not tried any of the Benefit powders before I purchased this set. I actually think that all I'd ever tried from Benefit before this were mini POREfessional primers that I'd gotten as free samples, but I've been adoring this. It is absolutely beautiful. I don't know that this would be as good of a set if you were deeper than me, because Dandelion is a pretty subtle blush. I mean, it's subtle on me, so it's going to be non-existent to ashy on a lot of people. However, I do notice that Benefit doesn't even describe this as a blush. They describe it as a brightening powder. So I would love to hear, if you are of a deeper skin tone, does this actually work as a brightening powder on you? Inquiring minds want to know. Now here's where we get to the 10 kind of 11 items, is with this set from NARS. This is the birthday gift at Sephora this year, and I am super, super impressed with it. It is a mini Laguna set, so it comes with a mini of the Laguna bronzer, as well as a mini of the Laguna Afterglow lip balm. I'm actually wearing both of them today. This is the only color that I have on my lips, and I think it is beautiful. I've been really impressed with how easy to pull off for every day this set is. I had kind of worried when I put this in my cart that it was going to pull very orange. I'd never tried Laguna bronzer before, and I have a hard time with bronzer sometimes. It's just not traditionally been a big part of my routine, and I find that a lot of bronzers tend to pull pretty orange or just weirdly olive on me, but this seems to work out really well. It's kind of yellow toned actually, I find, which I think helps to cancel out some of the redness in my skin, which is much appreciated. And then this is just such a subtle, healthy looking lip color. I think this is also a really great lip product to tie together a look where you have a lot going on the eyes, to the point where you need something on the lips, but you really can't add a whole lot on the lips without being really overwhelming. So that's how I'm using it today, and I think it's really working out for me. One more lip product. This is from Pat McGrath Labs, and this is one of their mini matte trance lipsticks in the shade Softcore. It is beautiful cool toned pink that sort of leans on nude. It is just incredibly, incredibly smooth. It feels really light on the lips. It is very matte, but it's matte without being drying or heavy. It's really an impressive formula, and I think the color is beautiful. I actually have 2 others that came in a set with this, but this is just my favorite of the bunch because it's such an easy everyday color. So pretty. Next up we have a liquid liner. This is from Kiko, and it is their Super Color Waterproof Eyeliner in the shade Golden Olive, I believe. I will put up a note if I have the shade name wrong. They didn't include the shade names on the packaging. But here is the swatch, and this is beautiful. It remains quite metallic. There is quite a bit of glitter in it, but the base color is actually sort of an olive, and then there's coordinating golden glitter throughout. It's really, really pretty. I find that this format is quite easy to get a wing with. I don't tend to struggle too much with winged eyeliner anymore, but I feel like this is a little bit easier and it's also quite forgiving, I feel. I think there's something about the fact that this is lighter than the black liquid liner that I usually use and the included glitter that even wings that aren't perfectly even tend to look pretty good, I think. Also just really, I also find this particular color really flattering. I feel like it brings out the green in my eyes. This, along with the next product, were absolutely the huge hits of the Kiko order. I expected to like both of them. I mean, I wouldn't have purchased things that I thought I wouldn't like. That's just kind of silly. But I didn't expect to like them just as much as I did. So the next item is again from Kiko, and this is a baked eyeshadow duo. There is a shimmery white shade, which is okay. It's kind of glittery. It's not a shade that I see myself getting a whole lot of use out of. If you have any use for a super glittery sheer white shade, you know, hit this up. The better shade, by far, for me at least, is this yellow. This is such a smooth shade and it has a beautiful shine to it. This works well as eyeshadow as it's intended. I've also been wearing it as highlight quite a bit. There it is, only a little bit sheared out, but it just gives the most beautiful yellow gold glow to the skin. I tend to struggle a little bit with golden highlighters. They tend to look very just stripey on me, but this works really, really well. It's light enough. It's interesting because it is yellow. It's not gold, it is very yellow, but it's so pretty. And I mean, I think you can see that I've been using quite a bit of this. We definitely worn down the yellow side quite a bit. It's really beautiful. I would highly recommend this if, like me, you have a little bit of a hard time with gold highlighters. I think you would really like this. Maybe we're actually talking about 12 products in this video because I couldn't decide between the two ColourPop shadows. This is Glass Bowl and this is on a Whimsy, and I like them for very different reasons. Glass Bowl is a duochrome. It is a beige with a blue shift to it. So pretty. This is an amazing transformer shade. I feel like I can put anything cool toned all over my lid, and then if I put this on top, it ends up giving me a very interesting shade, but somehow it also ends up being a lot more office appropriate or everyday looking, because I think that it just tends to bring out the beige while also intensifying whatever the color is underneath it with the blue shift. It's really, really lovely. It's a beautiful color, and I can see why this is such a major hit from ColourPop's line. It's beautiful. The other shade that I've been completely in love with is on a Whimsy, which is this silver. I feel like I usually describe this as like a Diet Coke can silver. First of all, because I am a Diet Coke addict and it's never far from my mind, so I think a lot about it. But also because it's, I mean, look at that. That is not an insanely thick built-up swatch. It is really that impactful, and it's just beautiful. Now, this is a shade that I actually do layer Glass Bowl over quite often. Let me do that right now, actually. It's not showing up on camera, but it does tone it down a little bit, make it a little bit more wearable for every day while keeping that just insane shine. I think this is incredible, and I've been absolutely loving it. The last item is a little bit newer to me. This is from Viseart, and it is their Petite Pro 2 palette. Here is what that looks like. I feel like I do not use this nearly as much as I should for how much I like it. But every time I do use it, I find myself really, really happy with the look that I get. And I find that it gives me a wider variety of looks than I ever think it will, just based on what it looks like in the pan. To me, in the pan, this looks like a very one-note set of shimmers. However, they do look a little bit more different on the eyes than they look in the pan. Yes, these are all rosy with the exception of this one, which actually starts pulling kind of rosy once you put on the lid. But the depths are different enough and the undertones are different enough that I feel it, I won't say it warrants all of their inclusion, because I do think that this palette would be improved if they'd gone with something a little bit different. Maybe if they'd made this shade a gold or brought out a little more brown in the shade, I feel like it would be a palette I reached for more often. However, the formula on these is really, really nice. You can get a subtle shimmer or you can get a really blinding shimmer with either a wet brush or some glitter glue. The mattes all perform beautifully. This coral is incredibly smooth for how vibrant it is, and these aren't the kind of mattes that are just like bam pigments. You can build them up to be like an emerald level bam, but they are buildable. They have a little bit of sheerness to them at first. You can get them to whatever level you want pretty easily, and I think that including this light shade makes the palette a lot more versatile, because these two shades are really pretty dark. However, you can mix any of them with this and get a nice transition shade or a slightly lighter crease color. It is a surprisingly versatile, tiny little palette, and I'm sure that once I finally get to go somewhere, this will be coming along with me. It really is a perfect little palette for travel. It's very, very pretty. And with that, we have the 10 best pieces of makeup that I have tried thus far in 2021. I'm really excited to see what the second half of 2021 will bring. Hopefully, just absolutely excellent things. And I'm also really interested to hear what you've been trying and loving this year. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. And please consider liking and subscribing if you did. I really hope that I'll see you next time. Bye!